Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and Spooky Story Sundays. Well, this one isn't so spooky. It is, it kind of has an air of spooky to it because I am talking about my own experiences with the Mandela effect. I've had a couple in my lifetime, like two major Mandela effects. And this video might be short, might be about 15 minutes long. I'm not going to go too deep with it, but I just thought we'd relax and talk about something of a spirit, like weird nature, I guess. All right, so before I get into this video, if you have had any Mandela effects happen to you, please let me know in the comment section below, or if you want me to speak about your own personal Mandela effect, you can remain anonymous. Just hit me up in an email. It's in the description box below as well. All right, so for those of you who do not know what the Mandela effect is it is where realities cross. There have been stories all around the globe where people have thought and swore up and down that they did something or they were a part of something. They even remember being a part of something. And there might be two or three other people that might remember this as well, but it never happened. Yeah, that's the kicker. It never happened. There are debates on what causes this. There are some theories where it says that it's when two realities clash for one window period in time. There are other, and with that, it's that you exist, your own self exists, not in just this reality, but in other different realities. And when those realities cross, you feel like you have the memory of doing this certain thing, but you never did it. You did it in the other reality. I know. Reality switches. There are other theories that it's just mental. It's a mental thing that happens. It's like a little mental brain fart or brain hiccup. But if that were the case, if that were truly the case, then why would two or three other people remember the same thing? Right? So I'm going to get into my own Mandela effect, what I have experienced. So I'm going to get into the first one. There's two, but the first one that I'm going to get into the most recent one first, because I remember that so vividly. I want to talk about it. All right. So I think it was a couple of days after, or a couple of weeks after the new year of 2017. And me and my husband hosted a party in our garage because, it was us, and two other couples, and we were just hanging out, having a good time, throwing back some beers and some shots. And we got on the subject of who was short and who was tall. And then we started wondering what our heights were. So my husband took the tape measure, and he went to the side of the garage door, or the door frame, door jamb. And he's like, let's measure everyone right now. So, everybody's getting measured. And me and this other girl, I'm not going to say, we're going to call her Amy. We'll call her Amy. So I remember my husband measuring me, and I remember Amy taking the pen and marking it, and then we put my initials. I remember that. We did it in permanent Sharpie marker. I remember that happening. Then the other girl, we'll call her Sally. She went after me, and we did her too in Sharpie. And we did all the other ones and whatever. And then, now here's the kicker, okay? We all had our measurements up there, all 6 couples, right? I remember us all doing it. And people will say, oh yeah, you were drunk. Did you really remember doing it? And trust me, I thought that myself. I was like, well, but I had this memory. So we're all hanging out in like July, and we're in the garage again, and I look over at the wall, and there are only 4 notches with initials. There were 6 of us that did this. And I'm like, how come I'm not? I was going to grab a beer, and I looked over, and I did not see my name or my initials or my thing. And I was like, that is odd. And I like turned back to them, and I was like, do you remember, like, why am I not up here? We did it in Sharpie. Why am I not up here? And then Sally came over, and she's like, I'm not up there either. She's like, I remember doing this. I was like, I remember doing it too. We both looked at each other, and even one of the guys remembers us getting measured. Now, 2 other people, my husband and the other girl, Amy, said that never happened, that we never got measured, that they never measured us. But 4 of us were adamant, or no, 3 of us were adamant because the 4th one wasn't there anymore. But the 3 of us were adamant. Even the guy that, you know, his name was still there, he was adamant that we got measured. But yet, it's not there. And it just sent me into this creepiness, and it sent a chill down my spine. And this is when Amy looked, she's like, it's the Mandela effect. And I was like, the Mandela effect? You know, I've been on a spiritual journey, and I've done all that, but I've never really like gotten into the Mandela effect or quantum physics or anything like that. So then she brought it up, and I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Because I remembered getting measured. My friend remembered getting measured, but yet it wasn't there. One other person remembers us getting measured, and he was just as stumped as to why we wrote in permanent marker why we were not there. So 3 of us remembered, and it apparently never happened. So in the Mandela effect, that would mean that in the other reality, those people don't remember, you know, myself and Amy don't remember getting measured, but their names are on the wall. So it's kind of like our realities swapped. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that one. The other one, it was back when I was younger. I think I was about, I'm going to say 16 or 17. Now, I remember this just a little bit. I don't remember all the things at play here, but I remember one night sitting up in my room and writing this poem. And it just came to me, and I'm just writing it down, and I'm like, that is an amazing poem. Like, it was like and I remembered it by heart. Like, I knew it by heart. All right. And I had it written down on the paper. And I went to bed. I woke up, and, I read the poem again because I was showing my grandmother the poem, and I read the poem to her, and she's like, oh, that's so amazing. You're so gifted, and I remembered the line, and I wanted to memorize this poem so that way I could tell, my friends about it or whatever. I wanted to memorize this poem. So I did that day. I memorized that poem. I put the poem away, and then 3 days later, I went to go show my friend the poem, and it was completely different. Completely different. The meaning of it, what was written on the page, it was completely different. So that was the first time I had a Mandela effect. And I'm not sure about the time frame of it because it was, I wrote it at night, and then I showed my grandma in the morning, and I was saying the poem over and over and over and over and over in my head all that day. And when I put it away, when I brought it back out again, it was completely different. I mean, even the meaning of the poem was different. I mean, I would understand if I wouldn't memorize every single word, but the meaning of the poem was different. So, in another reality, myself probably got the poem and was like, this is not my poem. Where did this come from? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I am going to say that when I did that poem, I was not high. I was not drinking. I was not doing nothing. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do my past mistakes, but what I'm saying here is that I was completely sober when I wrote this. I was completely sober when I told my grandmother this, and then I was completely sober when I pulled out the poem again to show my friend, and it had a completely different meaning and a completely different words. So let me know in the comment section below. I know this wasn't very spooky, but I feel like it's weird. It's kind of creepy to go about your life thinking and knowing you're doing something, and then to be told, no, you didn't do that. You didn't do that. But you have the memory. You know you did it. But you didn't do it. Let me know. Comment section below. Have you ever experienced anything like this? There was another Mandela effect I had. Oh my God, I almost forgot about this. Okay, so when I was about 13, no, I want to say like 12 or 13, there was these woods I used to go into all the time. Knew these woods front to back. Like, I was always in these woods. I grew up in these woods. I trekked them all the time. And it was a small piece of woods. It was probably, I want to say like maybe 10 acres. It's 10 acres probably at the most. And I knew it front to back. I knew every path. I knew every tree because I spent a lot of time there because I was a loner when I was a kid. So I had my best friend. My best friend used to trek that with me too. But one day it was eerily creepy. I mean, it was one of those overcast days, it was rainy, off and on. But we both just needed to get out of our houses. We were going through emotional things at home, and we both just needed to escape. So we decided we were going to go to the woods. We go to the woods. We walk through the woods. We're going on our path. And then all of a sudden, there's a path that we didn't see before. And we're like, what the hell? Because we knew this, and we thought, well, maybe somebody just started walking it a lot, or maybe, animals walked it a lot or something like that. So we thought we would go down this path and check it out. The path led straight, and then we turned around because, time was getting, starting to get dark, so we wanted to go home. So we turned around and we were coming back down this path. It was a straight path. We turned around and then we were coming back down this path. And then all of a sudden, the path ended, but it didn't end in the woods. It ended in a neighborhood that we did not know. And keep in mind, this woods was small. So for it to end in a neighborhood that we did not know, that was really creepy for us. And we were freaking out because it was getting dark. We were teenage girls. We couldn't figure out what was going on. We got lost. And we knew our neighborhood, and this neighborhood was not a part of our neighborhood. So we ended up just going back in, and eventually, finally, we found a path to our regular woods. It was really freaky. And then, after that day, we tried to find that neighborhood and that path again, and it was not there. It was not there. It was so creepy. And that kind of makes me feel like that was a Mandela effect, because we remember it. We remember it vividly. I don't know, y'all. Let me know in the comment section below. I am so eager to see if any of you have had any experiences like this. Please tell me I'm not the only one that has experienced Mandela effects or been in the woods where you were taken somewhere else. Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you all in my next video. Please stay safe and kind to each other. Bye.